Hey, welcome to Lab 4B of this Smoothie application series. I'm an Azure administrator as well as an Azure Solutions architect. In this part of the series, or in this lab, we're going to create a Kubernetes service to expose the RESTful API we created in the previous lab. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to another lab. Well, not another lab. Well, another lab of this whole series. I'm going to call this Lab 4B. And what we're going to add a service to our ratings API. And we're going to call this, we're going to create a ratings-API-service YAML file. So if you're using the Cloud Shell to create this YAML file, this is what you want to type. And then the Cloud Shell editor will magically appear. I'm going to use code to create the YAML file. And if you're wondering what a service is, well, a service is a Kubernetes object that provides stable networking for pods by exposing them as a network service. You use Kubernetes service to enable communication between nodes, pods, and users of your application, both internal and external to your cluster. A service, just like a node or a pod, gets an IP address assigned by Kubernetes when you create them. Services are also assigned a DNS name based on the service name and a TCP port. A cluster IP allows you to expose a Kubernetes service on an internal IP in the cluster. This type makes the service only reachable from the cluster. So think of like if you had some web servers and they had to connect to a SQL box, some SQL Server farm, you'd want that to only happen internally. So that's like a cluster IP. All right, so let's go ahead and create our YAML file. Like any good YAML file, it always starts with an API version. And we're going to go v1. Then what kind? Well, this is going to be a service. Then we got metadata. And let's give that a name. And our service would be called ratings-API. And then spec. Make that selector. App. Well, it's going to be the ratings-API. And what ports? Port 80. And I need to come up here and put a little dash here. Nope. Hold on. Under ports, we're going to put a dash protocol first. TCP, then ports 80, target, port 3000, and the type will be a cluster IP because we only want internal. Okay, looking back at our file, let's talk about just a little bit. Notice we have the selector, and the selector determines the set of pods targeted by the service. So what we did, so in our example, Kubernetes load balances traffic to pods that have the label app ratings dash API. And if we look at our previous example, you see you gave it the container and name of ratings dash, oh, here we go, labels ratings dash API. So this is going to tell the controller for the service to continue to scan for pods that match this label and add them to the load balancer. So if we had a typo here, for example, and we put a 2 or 21, then obviously this load balancer is not going to send anything to our ratings to our pod here called ratings API. So let me go back here, change this to API so it all works. And of course, the port, I think we all are kind of aware of what we've got to define what TCP. It's going to be going to port 80, and our target port is 3000. We talked about what the cluster IP is, but a service type of cluster IP creates an internal IP address for use with the cluster. Choosing this value makes the service reachable only from within the cluster. Cluster IP is the default service type. I'm going to go ahead and save this file. I'm going to call it ratings-API-service.yaml. And of course, if you're using the Cloud Shell, let me reconnect here. You're going to go over to the ellipses, which the ellipses will show up here in a second. Oh, to get to the editor, why don't I have the ellipses? Well, let me go ahead and type, I think I get to the Cloud Shell, open a new session, open editor. Yeah, so as soon as I open the editor, I get these ellipses that you have. You should have some stuff written here. You could do a save and then close editor. I'm going to close editor. I'm going to go back here. I got the file saved. I'm going to come back here. I'm going ahead and do a kubectl apply namespace ratings app. File will be ratings-API-service.yaml. And if I spell this the same as I saved the file, we should get a nice little service created. Doesn't exist. So what did I call it? Oh, it's got a text extension at the end of it. Let's go fix that. Rename. Really, you can't rename from here, huh? Edit, share, open. I guess not. How strange. I think I'm going to go here. I thought it was in this hands-on. Oh no, it's in my user directory. Users, Dave. There we go. Nope, this one. How about now? API version not set. Let's go look at our file. Oh, got it spelled wrong. Version. Do a quick save. Well, maybe not a quick save, but a save. Come here. Let's third time. It still doesn't like my API version. Alright, I'm not sure if this is it, but I don't have a space there. So I'm going to save it again. That does look good. And kabam. Ratings API service YAML. Do I have it? Do I have the right file here? Let's see if I put a 2 here, what error message I get. I would think it would say not found. Yeah, so I got the right file I'm calling. Okay, I did not really change anything, but it worked. Well, let me tell you what I did. First thing I did was there's a new command to learn to troubleshoot. I wanted to make sure that V1 was a valid API version because it changes. They change. So I ran this command, API versions, and it lists all the different APIs you use depending on the kind. So you notice we use this for deployments. And here's V1. So it's a valid API version for this version of Kubernetes. I then just went into my file, did a save as, and put a 2. And then I put a 2 here. Maybe when I was reading the file, it was reading a cache version. I don't know. You did see this message here. This was not found because I had a typo. I was missing this S earlier. Put the S here and it ran. So we're looking pretty good now. So let's check the status of our service. So we'll do a kubectl get service, the name of the service, and namespace, of course, is ratings with an S, ratings app. And there it is. You can see we got our cluster IP and our ratings API. So this is what we created in this part 4 A and B. So A, we create this ratings API, and then we just now in B just created this service, and you can see it's going to balance 2 of our pods. And the traffic. Here's a Mongo secret. So we also created that in, is that 4B? That was part 3. So our secret goes here. That's how it connects. So we're looking pretty good here.